We need to talk about Spurs again. Are they serious? Is all of this big spending actually going to make Spurs real contenders for the Champions League this season? Because that's what the talk is. That's where Spurs fans are at. That's where a lot of pundits and a lot of former players are talking Spurs up and where they're going to be. I'm not on board with it at all. And this breaking news that is dropping this morning is the most ridiculous bit of transfer news I've heard all summer. And it's been a mad summer. And that's Savinho going to Spurs for nearly 85 million. What is going on in this transfer window when it comes to the pricing and the valuations of these players? I honestly, sat here as a Manchester United fan, I'm looking at the business that United are doing and I'm going, you know what? I would like to be involved in all the drama and everything that's going on and all the excitement. And then there's part of me going, next summer when these Spurs players all flop and they're stuck mid-table with players on ridiculous wages, paying ridiculous transfer fees. There is going from one extreme to the other, and then there's the Spurs this summer, isn't there? There's going from having one of the lowest wages and one of the lowest wage bills in the Premier League and one of the lowest consistent net spends throughout the Premier League era, and then going to this level. And look, 85 million for Matheus Fernandes. Some people would say worth the investment because he's 22. He featured in the last two Premier League seasons, although he was relegated twice. Sandro Tonali, 100 million on top of that. Obviously, experienced Prem player, has got that X factor, quality player, good, yes. Some of the players that they brought in on a free transfer, Dubravka, Robinson, Zanese. Then they obviously bought Van Hecker in as well for 50 plus million from Brighton. They're buying a new team, it would seem. They want two more forwards on top of all of that. And I'm looking at the Savinho deal and I'm looking at 85 million. That does not scare me one bit. The midfield, solid, good midfield. Still got a gel and still got to find out there. Still got to find their rhythm. I'm not fully sold on Kinski in goal for Spurs. So people talking up Spurs like they're going to be contenders and automatically just because of the money that they've spent. Are going to now contend. Look, as a United fan, I'm looking at this and going, are Spurs actually, are they going to be a threat to United next season? Look, no European football, big money spent, Prem-proven players. Are they going to come back and be one of the teams that push out one of the top five from last season? Could well be. Look, I'm not saying that they are worse than what they were last season. Far from it, of course. But you have to look at the players and go, are they worth that much money? This is a massive risk from Spurs. And if they don't get Champions League after this spend, then it's been a failure. A failure for Spurs when you're spending this amount of money shows, I think, not qualifying Champions League, poor recruitment, and just a giddy owner who's got a new role at the football club who is just going absolutely crazy. I'm not convinced one bit by the players that they bought. I'm just going to say this right now. Savinho, I mean, what has this guy done? How many Premier League goals does he have? Manchester City brought him in from Girona for, what was it, 30 million quid. How does 30 million go to 85 million when you've scored, what, 2 Premier League goals, is it? What did he make, 7 starts last season? There's a reason why Manchester City are getting rid of him. Spurs have been taken to the cleaners this summer by everybody, and they have set a precedent now for future transfer windows where they're going to be absolutely battered. Credit to him. There is an element of jealousy that Spurs can go and spend whatever they want. But what are they going to do next window if they don't get Champions League football? The whole De Zerbi factor as well, not having it. What has this guy done and what has he won to warrant players going to play for him at Spurs, the new project? They're going there for the money. They're going there for the big payday and the wages. And that's all I can see these players moving to Spurs for. Before we get back to the video, I want to talk to you about something that's really impressed me. Look at these transformations. Oh my days. Michael Owen, £40 lost on his plan. Anita, £60 more lost on hers. And Linda, £50 lost on her Oxford Natural plan. Let's make it clear, and I'm going to tell you this from my own experience, you have to put the work in yourself. You have to want to make these changes and healthier changes in your life. But people have kept asking me, since working with Oxford Natural, what is the difference? Why do day and night supplements with Oxford Natural make such a big change? Well, that's because normal supplements only have one ingredient. Oxford Natural's Optimum Day supplements have 7 different ingredients in them. Ingredients like citicoline to help mental clarity, green tea extract to help metabolism, And when your day is over, Optimum Night Supplements kick in and give you an extra 6 ingredients like ashwagandha to help deal with everyday stress in life, lavender to give you a better sleep quality as well. Both supplements combine together to the ultimate 24-hour system to help you through your day. If you're thinking it is time to make a change, click on the link in the description of this video or scan the QR code on your screen to get 70% off your first order when using promo code AdamFC. Now let's get back to the video. You tell me, of course, I'm opening it up to everybody in the chat as well. De Zerbi, all this money being spent. There's talk of Manchester City in conversation with Spurs for Omar Mamouche as well. Saying like Spurs are going to have one of the biggest transfer window spends we've ever seen. They're competing with what Liverpool did last summer in terms of the spend. I just don't believe they spent the money on the quality of player that they think that they're getting. I'm not convinced one bit by what Spurs have done so far. You've got to integrate the players in, and in making that many players a brand new team gel is difficult on its own. But the biggest problem that they are going to have is the future. Past this season, everybody's going to go, all right, every single player that you want now is going to be at least 70 million. At least we can say we've learned from it as Man United fans and say that at least Ineos are bringing the price down. Would I rather have a Baleba, a Santos and a Tillemans for 150 million or two midfielders in Tonali and Fernandes for 185 million, going more on the wages that they're on? Wow. And I look at the front lines. I look at the players that Spurs are bringing in. Would I rather have Mbeumo, Ahmad and Cunha and Sesko than the players that they're looking at? Mamouche, Savinho, Gakpo as well. They're supposedly going for Cody Gakpo. It's crazy what the prices are. I don't get why Spurs have gone so crazy with what they're spending. They could have done this and negotiated better deals. But because they went big, because they tried to make a statement, and because they tried to beat Manchester United to Matheus Fernandes and get that deal over the line, they've opened up to everybody in the Premier League now and said, Spurs are there to be shafted, and we are going to. And everybody is going to absolutely rip Spurs to pieces when it comes to pricing now. I think they've made a huge mistake in going the way that they have. And De Zerbi, I just don't get it. I don't get why he's getting the hype that he's getting. Yes, you scraped over the line and managed to stay up in the Premier League. That's all he's done. He failed in Marseille. He got some decent football on the table at Brighton, but who hasn't at Brighton? Their recruitment is absolutely spot on, and they've always got good players. I just don't get why people are thinking that De Zerbi and all this money being spent is a recipe for success. We will see. I might be proved wrong yet, and that's why I've asked the question, are Spurs better? I think they're better than what they were last season with the players, but I don't think the hype of Spurs being right up there is all that. I'm really not convinced by it at all. And I'm going to be honest, I think they've made an absolute disaster of this transfer with Savinho. 85 million. You look at the players going for that sort of money, and you think a player that's made, 7 starts in the Premier League is worth 85 million. You only have to look at the stats of this player overall while he's been at Manchester City. I think what's he got? 2, 3 Premier League goals? 85 million. You got to laugh at it. I tell you what City are doing, I don't know what they've got over every single transfer that they bring in that fails. They seem to make money on. There's got to be some questions asked about Manchester City as well on this, surely. Because I'm telling you right now, Reinders, failure, profit. Gonzalez, failure, looks like a profit. Savinho, flop, profit. Mamouche, profit. I don't get it. Trafford, profit. On top of a previous transfer, on that, I have no idea how they're managing to do what they're doing. And someone has to ask that question. But I tell you what, Spurs are there for everyone to take advantage of right now when it comes to transfers, aren't they? Good God, that is mental. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Are Spurs all that? Are they real contenders, or have they spent a load of money on a load of nothing? Like, share and subscribe here on Adam FC. I'll see you all in the next video.